Good afternoon. Slightly delayed because of some technical issues, but I'm very glad that you are all here. Um, I would love to apologize for the issues that we had some issues with connecting the stream, and I still cannot see. Yes, here we are. Okay. I will skip over the issues that we have with and the general introduction of PIM vendors, and we'll go directly to our guests. But before we do that, some quick housekeeping. We have now 3 times 20 sessions by our speakers on product information management and AI, and we'll follow that up with a large roundtable session where there's also a lot of room for Q&A. So if you have any questions on product information management and artificial intelligence, just drop your comments or questions in the chat. Also, if you have any questions on presentations that you see, feel free to put those in the chat, and we'll weave them into the conversation, maybe even to one of the presentations of the speakers, but for sure during the Q&A and the roundtable session afterwards. And maybe I'll even be able to answer some questions live. So apologies again for the slightly delayed start. Without further ado, let me introduce our first speaker, Arnoud from Connecting the Dots.
Thank you.
Hi, Arnoud.
Good afternoon.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the stream. I'm going to share your presentation and the floor is yours.
Great. Welcome, everyone. So today I would love to talk about PIM and AI and the views that we have at this topic from Connecting the Dots. So I tried to compress it to 10 slides, which did not work. 11 slides for today. So let's start off. So my name is Arnoud Schutte. I'm one of the co-founders and co-owners of Connecting the Dots. Connecting the Dots is active in the field of product information management and e-commerce. We help retailers, brand owners, and trading companies with optimizing and controlling their product content. And our mission is that product content is done with a smile. So we always aim at helping our users in creating the best product content. So reasons why clients choose us. Our solution can accommodate any product in any industry. Our product CTD PIM allows for flexible system of record configuration. This enables the use of industry standards or a company-specific setup. And we believe that we have the best-in-class UX. Among our clients are Axel Group, United Retail, the Bijenkorf. Have a look at Connecting the Dots to learn more about the company. So that's it for some shameless promotion on Connecting the Dots. And let's take a look at today's agenda. So I want to start off with some AI advantage, examples of AI in PIM, trends we see, and finalize with some key takeaways. So for today's presentation, I'm not going to show our tool as my co-partner Max. He showcased some of the AI functions that we embedded into our software, also in one of PIM vendors' events in September. So today's just the slides which I prepared. So take a look at the AI advantages we see. Pretty much open doors, but we see that AI is much faster than humans. AI accelerates the processing of large data sets. It excels at recognizing patterns. And also we see it continuously trains itself with a feedback loop by users, by humans, and thereby improving over time. We see that AI is the future, and from a personal perspective, I recall using ChatGPT first time in November last year, and to me it gave the same buzz I felt back in the days in 1996 when I first entered the internet. There's so many things that we cannot foresee yet that are about to happen. And it's only like 12 months since ChatGPT became mainstream. So excited times for us as a software developer. So what we see and how we also incorporate AI ourselves in our solution is you can use AI, more specifically generative AI, in many ways. At Connecting the Dots, we use it to generate descriptions, do error analysis on products. Also, we are now working on training a model that can match products based on title and descriptions to a category. But you can also think about localizing data, classified data, cleaning up data as an application of AI within product information management. So kind of interesting, and this is a quote by Gartner. Gartner recognized that 70% of organizations by 2025 will choose data management software products based primarily on the business user experience. And that's up from 2021 when it was 20%. And we see it as a unique buying reason for customers that come to Connecting the Dots, because they are looking for a easy to use product information management tool. And it's our firm belief that AI will help in making the user experience more friendly and helping in our mission, product contents done with a smile. So, giving this quote from Gartner, we see 3 trends that I would like to present in today's presentation. First one up, we see a deeper integration of AI and PIM. So, as Max, my co-partner, showed in September, you could see, and I can describe that now, that we use ChatGPT in order to generate text, missing text, or helping out content managers to create text. But with new generation of AI, it is also possible to expose defined functions in your application to AI. So instead of manually clicking, filtering, searching, you can inquire with your AI assistant to have tasks executed for you. You might ask your AI assistant to suggest products that can be incorporated into a specific marketing campaign. For example, a Black Friday campaign, or add all products with a missing French title to a translation workflow. So instead of filtering out a set of products, have your AI assistant perform those tasks for you. A second trend we see is AI-powered decision-making in PIM. AI can play a significant role in data-driven decision-making. It can swiftly process fast data, enabling real-time insights and expediting efficient decision-making. Also, it can uncover patterns and correlations in fast data. Integrating AI simplifies the data analysis and helping the PIM user to make the best decision based on the data. A third trend we see is that specific AI assistants will handle specific tasks in AI or in PIM. So it can help with specific operations. And I believe that today we also have Sylvain from Describe, who will show us how they are using AI to make descriptive copy. This could be one of the assistants that in future we can incorporate into the connecting the dots PIM. But also you can look at training your own models or subscribe to models that are optimized to create SEO texts or help you marketing products more efficient. So what I just showed is that we recognize significant potential for AI in UX and how business users interact with PIM. Also, we see that involving AI in decision-making can streamline PIM operations, and specialized trained assistants will help in enhancing and expanding product content, reducing time to market at the friction of labor cost. So that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask and be sure to join our roundtable discussion later. Back to you, Stefan.
All right, thanks, Arnold. I have one more question for you because you mentioned the demo that your colleague Max gave, I think, about a month ago during the first event. Could you maybe shed some light on how AI, generative AI, is currently implemented in the tooling?
Yeah, so what we did is so in a PIM, you go to the products, and once you see an overview of your products, you can go to the product detail page, which allows you to edit this specific product. And we integrated AI as a assistant, which you can ask questions like suggest copy or translate copy. But you can also ask the assistant, give suggestions to the whole product, and it helps you fill in the blanks, but also give suggestions on inconsequences. Like, for instance, if your title talks about a cotton t-shirt, and the material specification specifies a different material, it singles that out and lets you correct it.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you for the presentation today. I invite everyone to take a look at the previous roundtable and lighting demos as well to get the full overview and see how it's called PIM, right? The AI assistant.
Yes.
So see how he or she how the assistant helps you during your product creation and enrichment process. And I'll see you during the roundtable. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. That means that it's already time for our second speaker, which is actually our second and third speaker. Let me add them real quick. Sylvain and Michal, if I pronounce that correctly.
Yes.
You're both from Describe. I'll share your presentation as well, Sylvain. The floor is yours, and I'll see you.
Awesome. So first of all, thank you very much, Stefan, for the intro and the opportunity to introduce you Describe. So today we are going to discuss how artificial intelligence can transform the e-commerce industry and is transforming the e-commerce industry with a strong focus on the product pages. So to introduce myself, my name is Sylvain. I have a background in tech, even though I've done business most of my life. I've been expatriated in many countries for about 10 years, and I'm now based in south of France. So we partner with Michal to create Describe, and I'm in charge of everything related to GTM. And I have the great honor to introduce you, Michal, that is the great brain behind all this AI. So I'll let you introduce yourself also.
Thank you, Sylvain. My name is Michał Kłaczkowski. I am the primary architect of the Describe project. And also I'm for 16 years a programmer, mostly in the AI space and MLOps space. Already had one startup behind me called Cluster One, which was one of the first Kubernetes-based machine learning platforms. And also I'm an ex-Googler working on a self-driving car project, Waymo. And the project that we'll be discussing right now was originally started as a research project on one of my company, which is DevOps Bay, which is working with prime US-based companies on AI, like DataRobot, also Intel, and a few others.
Yep. So that's an important information that even though Describe is a new company, it's really a deep tech that has been developed by DevOps Bay during months now, a little bit less than a year, I would say. So we are indeed a spin-off with a very big team of engineers working and a lot of experiences. So if you can also then we'll jump directly into the details of how we technically solve one specific use case in e-commerce. But if you can also highlight a little bit what you have witnessed during the past years and why AI is on front of everything right now.
Of course. So probably everybody has already saw and is using AI or at least machine learning models on their daily usage. Started with probably systems like Siri, and later on with better iterations. There's a number of contributing factors to it, and first of all, we've got massive increase in data availability. Right, internet create huge amounts of data that enables us to train our models, and we have a lot of resources to work on, especially for training and improving AI models. We've got advances in computing power, of course, so Moore's law is significant, of course, and enable fasting processing speeds. The AI concepts are not new in terms of like theories, but the actual implementation was only recently possible because of the available computing power. We also got a couple of breakthroughs in machine learning algorithms, but I will dive into that in a few seconds. But of course, cloud computing and scalable infrastructure, the fact that we can deploy AI models dynamically on both our edge devices, like phones, for example, we can deploy them in cloud and serve huge amounts of users, like, for example, right now, Microsoft and OpenAI are doing with their ChatGPT, and a few other implementations, of course. And because of the increased interest and also different possible usages of these technologies, we can see an increased investment in research. Like because just last year, AI was the fastest developing computer science section. So we definitely will be seeing a lot of projects in that space. Describe is actually one of them. But the more, I think, interesting to this discussion that we'll be having today is the fact that there was just this year a number of revolutions in terms of how we are interacting with AI, and they are called foundation models. They are large. Foundation models are basically very large machine learning models that are trained on a vast quantity of data at scale, and the primary example that started this whole conundrum was actually ChatGPT, as was mentioned by our predecessor in November last year. It actually get into a speed in the beginning of this year, and we are seeing increased implementations everywhere. But also there was another revolution quite recently, which was the new models emerge in terms of visual recognition space. And one of them was actually segment anything from Meta. And Meta, because of the Metaverse project, invested a lot into different visual recognition models, contributed a lot in the development of new, much better and especially faster image segmentation and image recognition technologies. So moving forward, there's a number of possible right now implementations of the AI, as was also mentioned by our predecessor. We've got sentiment analysis, fraud detection, hyper-personalized product recommendation, dynamic pricing, predictive analysis, chatbots, of course, and virtual assistants. And there's actually much more. But there was one particular problem that we wanted to solve.
Yeah, the idea is with all the new innovation that has been done at DevOps Bay, especially working on image recognition, the idea was to actually tackle a real-life business problem which is the creation of product description. So we see too many of those empty description. So on large marketplaces like these, where you have like no description or very low description, sometimes description is only in the title, but actually that concerns everyone. It's a very widespread problem because it concerns all the companies who are selling online. All of them need to create product content regarding the size or the industry. And that is very troublesome, of course, because the content has to be unique, it has to be compelling, it has to be error-free, accurate, to be able to guide the user to the potential customer. There is a critical significance and an impact directly on the sales, because obviously if you do not provide a very compelling product description, you do not convert well. Also, the time to market is drastically impacted because it takes a lot of time to push new products to market, and all that has a profound effect on profitability. So all those consequences are that you are not pursuing enough, you have a high return rate, you have also a very bad image, so either on your own website or if you're a marketplace. So there's a delay also in search. This is something sometimes we miss, but if you don't have a proper description, it's not easy to find properly the product, and the product it takes longer to be referenced on search engines. So all that is still an sort of unaddressed problem. So of course, some companies are putting some efforts to have content writers, but still it's quite an inefficient process to create new products, because it still takes a lot of time. It's consuming in resources, and as we've seen, a lot of companies still lack totally product descriptions. So in short, the problem is very wide. It's everywhere. It's costly. It has a major impact on business, and the solution is not totally effective. So this is where there is a match between our technology and the problem that we are solving, because at Describe, so we developed, and that's why I really wanted to have Michal in this call to be able to give us a little bit more insight about the technology behind, because I'm going to show you more in details how it works. But to explain you, because you see everywhere a lot of AI, even if you go on LinkedIn, there's a lot of plugin from ChatGPT everywhere, so it's kind of difficult to know where we have a real architecture and real innovation in terms of models. At Describe, what we do is that we have built, Michal's team, a whole architecture around this new technology of image recognition to work directly on the product. So you'll tell us, Michal, but what I like about this is that we work on the image, and that's totally game changer from other generative AI, because working on the picture allow us to have low or no human interaction, to work at scale, because on every PIM or every DAM or any solution, we have the product images. So we can just take those product images to do all the work to be able to generate the product description. So if you can tell us a little bit more about this architecture that you have created, so we can understand that it's not only the content generation, but what is behind it to provide these best results.
Definitely. So first of all, what sets us apart from like GPT-4 Vision or different models in that space right now, and not only that, we set up an entire process that's combining multiple models to do the job. The process we set up is actually very complex underneath. First of all, when you upload the image, we try to identify the object. So we tend to especially if there's a complex image, and you will see some examples later on when Sylvains will be presenting, we try to extract the objects from the background to ensure that we would be actually describing what the user wants. And as you probably can tell, sometimes the background is like interfering with the object. So that was first problem. After we extracted the object, we try to identify it. And this is something that you could compare us to, let's say, like a Google Lens or similar products like that. And we are using advanced comparison models that are crawling the web, trying to find objects that will match our photo, or at least we'll try to do a probability matching based on that image. And it's actually quite complex model. We trained it on a lot of data from appliances, apparel, to any types of projects we could think of. Funny story about that is that the image recognition and object recognition part is working better than Google Lens right now, and I found it very useful, especially when my girlfriend is asking what somebody's wearing, etc. I just take the photo and I identify the object. So that's proven to be very useful in real life. But after we identify the object, we actually trying to find as much as information about that in the web. That's also set us apart from fixed models like GPT-4 that has a fixed date where its data is coming from. Although right now they can crawl the web, they are not as efficient as ours because we have dedicated sets of crawlers that are looking for information, and we've got a dedicated large language model that is looking for information like product name, product attributes, and all of that. So that's one side of the story. So we are trying to find information within the web. But also, what happens if there's a unique project that we cannot identify and there is nothing on the web to help us describe it?
Or for new products also, because it works if you're a brand and you want to promote a new product.
Exactly. And what actually set us apart from like GPT-4 and others is that we've created a very advanced large language model that can detect attributes and be very specific about the details of a given object. So it's in like GPT model, for example, is very broad. So the idea is that's going to describe what's happening on the scene, right? So the entire screen is being described. But in our case, because we extracted the object, because we have it on the first plane and we have a full control over that, we create a model that is finding fine details, like trying to find the different textures of the material, trying to identify those, trying to describe based on a number of data that we've created before, and train the model on like how to describe apparel correctly, what are the attributes that could be associated with a sweater, or let's say a phone or a computer. So all of that combines to very good results, and I will show that in a second. And all of that data, including like branding detection, we've got a dedicated model just for detecting logos and identifying them and finding information on the web about the brands, for example. All of that is being combined by a final model that is putting all of it together to create you the final results, that is creating descriptions that are SEO optimized for e-commerce purposes. You can change the tone. We've created a number of different styles, etc. But I think the most exciting part is actually the image recognition and also the GAN networks, generative adversarial networks that we used to recreate the images. But that's up to Sylvain to show us.
Yep. So we talk a lot about ChatGPT. I think it's important because the idea here is not to diminish what ChatGPT is doing at all, because it's just an amazing tool that we all use on a daily basis. But it's more to highlight that all the architecture that we have created specifically to solve this specific use case of the product description for the e-commerce industry is more impactful. So we do benchmark with the best, with the leader that you all know, that is ChatGPT. We actually made the same with others, and it's quite similar. So let's take an example, a very difficult example with this picture. So if you have human intelligence, you'll probably recognize that it's a bike. It's a black bike on more or less a black background street with someone wearing a black outfit, so not very easy to recognize. We have fed that into ChatGPT. You need to have a simple prompt, but you need to have a prompt to ask him what he can see on the picture. And he understood that it was a bike, so it's pretty good news, but he misled with the product identification. So he thought it was a brand from the US, I guess, and the wrong product. The description, if you can read it, I will share the presentation later, is just generic. So it's not bad by itself. It's grammatically correct. It's just that it's not very compelling. It's just telling, hey, it's great to have a bike, etc., etc. And we did the same with Describe. So first, Describe recognized perfectly that it was a Peugeot bike, French brand, good choice, but also the exact model. He provides you the ID number. It provides you a great description for the product. So if you can read in details, it's not very easy, but it tells you that it provides up to 260 watt of power. That blah, 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 I cannot read, it's too small, but it's very precise to inform you about all the specificity about this product. You have a product history, so you know if this product exists for a long time, if it's a classic, for example. You have the background of the brand history, and all the technology behind it. So you can see, for example, that you have a Shimano 10-speed, you have a Bosch Fusion display, etc., etc., and it gives you the details of, for example, even the torque of the motor. So this is exactly what we need in e-commerce, is that we don't want just to recognize the product. We just don't want to have text. We want to have something extremely specific and compelling to describe the product that we want to sell. So we also have identified product codes and other products related, so you can actually link it directly to the right product. So if you click, you have the actual Peugeot bike directly on the website. So our solution, this is a video, but I will show you live how it works. It's more fun. It takes a couple of seconds. So you just go to describe.com. You can do it by yourself also if you want to check it out. You create a login, or you sign up directly with your account, your Google account. Yes, describe.com, thanks. Of course, it's long to load. All right. So you can have multiple or single descriptions. So we'll try with one single description at first. We'll pick one random product, let's say this one. You can change different settings. You can ask for all the settings that you want. I'll go for using my template, and I will just hit describe, and then it will start to recognize and describe the product. It can also work in multiple descriptions, so I can add all the products at once. And I hit describe, and all those will be added also to my description. So when I get to my description list, I can visualize all the products that are undergoing. And if I check, for example, this Adidas Lacoste, it's still undergoing, so I will take another one. It perfectly recognized the product and created a description. I didn't ask for all the details that I showed you before, but this is done instantaneously. So someone actually asked if it's not too long and too time consuming. So as you can see, we have the possibility to add many products at the time. So we have a queue system, so you don't actually have to wait. You can start working on products that have already been identified and generated, and switch from one to another. It works with many products you can try by yourself. This is a yogurt. It works with electronic devices. It works with furnitures. It works with pretty much everything. So what I just showed you is the online version. So you can go online, create an account for free, no credit card, and you can actually try it for if you have like a small deal for 50 per month. Otherwise, you just subscribe to a plan that is not very costly, and it's really a turnkey solution. So you can really go and try, and there is no setting required, no data training, no nothing. You can just load your product and start to use it. Then you can export what I showed you in my description to an Excel file to load it into another system if you need. But, and this is where it's interesting for PIM or any actual other solution, is that we also offer an API with actually more features. It's easier to set up. And you can integrate directly into your any of your system. So we use OpenAPI. It's very flexible, and then you can have it totally custom. So you don't have to switch from one system to another. It could be totally transparent for the user. So the value proposition is quite obvious, I would say, for the user, for the retailer, for those who have to generate the description, because it does all the job for you. So you save 95% of your time. So your copywriters can have actual time to add value to those description instead of spending time to make a first copy. And it will allow you to create more product faster, to launch more products on the market. There's also value for marketplaces. So marketplaces have this issue embedding, onboarding new merchant because they need to comply to their format. Sometimes they have empty pages like we saw before on Best Buy or big examples like that. And that's impacting the product search and the discovery. So with this tool, you will ensure that you can be the simplest platform to work with, and also the one who has the highest conversion rate, because the product descriptions are more compelling and will convert better. And for you, if you're a PIM or any third-party solution, using our API totally embedded into your system will allow you to supercharge your software with the most advanced AI totally dedicated to e-commerce, and that will provide the most, and I will say that's the big difference with standard generative AI, that is absolutely fitted for e-commerce with the best results. It's scalable, so you can work at scale using hundreds or thousands of products. And I think something is worth to mention also is that in the online version, we charge with plan, but with the API, we charge per API call, so per usage. So then you are free as a PIM to totally integrate our solution within your system and to resell this into the business model that you judge is the most appropriate. You can offer it to your users. You can include in plan to make sure that your customers will have to move to the upper plan, for example. Why not? So this is totally up to you. So to summarize the value proposition, Describe is a really AI deep tech. We are a startup, but there's a lot of startups in SaaS. We are not just providing a software. We are really AI specialists, especially Michal, much more than me, and his team, doing AI for a very long time, and that we have created a proprietary architecture specifically designed to solve this e-commerce product page issue. So that's very differentiating from standard generative AI. We work directly from picture. So that will allow you to have accurate answer. That will allow you to have more reliable and consistent answer. Also, this is maybe the problem with standard generative AI. Sometimes it gives you good results and sometimes not. So with our solution, it's really consistent. It's scalable, and also it's a turnkey solution. I insist on that because we see a lot also of AI, but that require a lot of training ahead on your data sets, on maintenance, on setup and everything. And sometimes it's not one solution fits all, like us, but they need to change the model to fit what they need. One last word, if I may, because I wanted to take advantage of this presentation from PIM vendors to unveil a revolutionary new technology. And I'm super excited to talk about this. This is really a huge innovation because from the beginning, I'm talking about the product description, while I said at the beginning that we are tackling the product pages, and there's a slight difference in between, is the images. This is the original picture that you load into Describe. And we are able to generate a new image totally automatically with AI. I'll give you 1 second to be very, very fast, Nihal, because there is no more time. But if you can just give one word of why this is really innovative, why it does not exist, because we have DALL-E, we have Midjourney, but I don't know if any of you have tried to do that with one product, but it's really not working for business purposes. So if you can just give us a word of why this is really amazing for the e-commerce industry.
Definitely. So just on the images, if any of you played with Midjourney and DALL-E or other GAN networks, you will notice that they tend to, even though you provide a template image, they tend to regenerate it to totally change the object itself, right? So usually it creates something that is unrealistic. It doesn't look like a photo, and it's not very useful for like e-commerce usage. So what we did with the system, because of already our object extraction technology and the fact that we've been able to correctly recognize the objects, you can extract the object. We are generating new backgrounds for it, and then we created a model that's creating a composition of the two nicely, like you see on the regenerated image. But there's actually slightly more to it if we can go a little bit further. So this is the original image, right? And it's not very useful, but we can easily generate an object like shown right now by Sylvain. So what happens is we've created a GAN network that not only can work on the image, but it's trying to keep the original essence. So we are trying to find all of the, I would say, important attributes of the original object, add any missing pieces based on the templates we've got within the database or based on similar images, because as you recall, we've been trying to find information on the object in the web. So we have access to a number of images that we can use to fine-tune the image and update the object if there are missing pieces, update the resolution, and also recreate a new composition of the image itself, including changing like the lighting, slightly changing the colors, and doing the totally optimized and good looking picture at that. And that's something that, as far as we know, nobody else are doing at this moment.
So in this example, well, again, great job. I'm very glad to be able to unveil this revolutionary new technology today with you guys. And yeah, I think you can all see the potential, especially this example that we took is, again, very tricky because it's dark. You have a model. It's not easy for an AI to identify what you want to sell and how you can enhance it. So to be able, and the picture that we provided is absolutely not retouched. It's really how the AI has provided it. We are going to improve this to be able to put that on the market before the end of the year, maybe, or in a couple of weeks or month, couple of weeks, I would say. But I think it's incredible. We don't have the model anymore. It was able to regenerate the cap, recenter the product, change the background. This is exactly what we want for the e-commerce. So to summarize, what Describe does today is that it will turn only this picture into a product page. So you have a better product name, a better brand identified. You have all the attributes. You have the technology. You have the product description, product history, everything that will help you to sell this product in a more compelling way, and all this in seconds and at scale. And what we are going to do tomorrow is that based on that bad quality picture, we'll be able to do everything that I just said, plus to also generate a new picture more compelling. So this is where Describe is really transforming any picture into a product page in seconds and at scale. And we are all done. I hope we didn't spend too much time on the presentation, Stefan.
I mean, you did, but it's fine.
I'm sorry, but
No,
we really had to tell you more about this innovation, and we really wanted to do it today during your presentation.
no, for sure. I'm glad you did, and I'm glad you took the time. I think, well, based on the comments and the questions we'll probably get during the Q&A, it definitely made an impact, and I'm glad that we were able to make the time and have this live product launch on our event. So thanks a lot. But we still have one more speaker, so I'll see you guys back during the roundtable, and I would say there's probably plenty of questions for you guys afterwards. So see you then. All right. Up to our final speaker of today, we're going to Thomas from Ergonode. Thomas.
Yes. Hello. Good afternoon.
Hi there. The floor is yours. I have your present.
Yes, thank you. I tried to put some light in the back, but it's not like I'm from heaven, but it gives me so much more visibility than I think. Yeah, it's great to see what the guys from Describe did. And first of all, I think it underlines why our founders are also talking to them about incorporating their technology into our platform. And I think also hearing the first conversation Arnaud did, I think we all totally agree on the added value which AI can bring to product information management, and so there's no question about it. And yeah, so in the end, what will make it? So what differs Ergonode, for example, from other platforms? And I think looking back since the time I've been working with Ergonode, I see a software solution and a team who is developing the software solution, constantly focusing on how we can improve the daily way of working for our customers with the software solution. So, and we really try to incorporate all the new technology into our software as a central piece of software where users, content creators, are able to get the maximum out of all the technology we have these days. And so also, if we go so quickly, so always when we talk to our customers, we try to listen for what their challenges are in digital. And quickly looking back at how we started in retail, so traditionally we have one-on-one sales, direct sales in store where we can look at products. Next level, online sale became a thing, so B2C. And before you know it, you see your company growing, and also each specialist within the company, the need for these people, because your client needs information and the business needs management. So we see an increasing part of complexity within these type of companies. Also, adding B2B will make sure that your company will need a category manager also to service these B2B customers as well. And also, like Describe told me, the marketplaces, also a very strong channel, of course, for online sales. So, and again, adding a marketplaces to your business will put some more need in for people, translation specialists, marketplaces manager, and also from a graphical perspective, so from the content creator, we need people who are able to create content that can be images, it can be text, to be like sales channel specific. So if you take all that into account and see how an average current company is work, we have so much people working with content. And On average, these people are used to working with Excel, Word, yes, and with AI, but also with, for example, Adobe or other designer tools. They work with e-commerce solutions. And so there's a lot of exchange of data within the companies as well. And I think that's especially with all the developments going on. I think PIM is taking a more and more important position within the company. So a normal process on an average company without a PIM solution would look like, hey, we have some form of basic data. Maybe it's interesting that we get some form of workflow around it. So they incorporate the tools like Trello, ClickUp, or even Slack, and they start creating tasks, creating content using the tools we just mentioned. Localization being done by DeepL or Localize, and in the end we push them to the channels. And I think what is one of the strong points for having any PIM solutions which fits your company's needs is that it takes a very central position in managing, creating, and distributing all this data from one solution. And yeah, that's, I think, one of the strongest points of having a PIM solution, because it enables you to accelerate. And for the topic of today, because from the first part I could talk for an hour longer, but it's not about why PIM, it's about how Ergonaut and what our vision is for PIM. And what we see is that it's all about, in the end, our goal is to have our users being more productive doing their daily job. So that is thinking about classification, thinking about data consistency, localization, management, and especially the enrichment part is very strong. And that is where PIM comes into the picture. So also, like Arnoud said, at, let's say, the left stage, we see an important part also for data cleaning. So not only generating data, but also cleaning up the data we get from various sources, and to make it from the quality we want our customers to present to their customers. And like I said, our founders are in very close relationship with the founders from Describe, talking about how we can use artificial intelligence to get parameters from the images we see, the images we upload, and put that into our catalog. And another thing is, which is of course interesting, is that we, from all the data points we gather, it's how we connect specific products to each other. So that can be a parent-child relation, that can be like cross-sell, upsell relation. So based on any insights we gather, that can be sales data, that can be user-specific data, we use AI to make logical combinations. And also I heard Describe saying the SEO word for the search engine optimization. AI will be, I think, an interesting tool to use, because it will help us describe the product and also look at the current online presentations, how we can differ our product, getting a very good SEO description, for example. And yeah, in the end, we also will have a PIM agent, which we also could call PIM or Copilot, but the name hasn't been decided for yet. But there will be tooling inside our software which will help the content creator or the content manager to speed up their daily business and to create higher quality data, because it's not, in the end, let's say, the AI which will be the quality data. It still will be the person using the various solutions which will be around to select the best quality possible. And for example, this is one of our current data mappers importers from our software solution. On the right side, besides the current functionality where we try to map CSV headers, for example, to our headers in Ergonaut, to the attribute names, there could be a function like cleaning the data, like we just mentioned earlier. to get very strong and quality data. Also, working with images, we envision a way of uploading images to our data, and where it would automatically recognize, based on the various data points we already have, what type of images is, just like the example Describe gave with the Peugeot brand. We know what type of couches is, what the material is about, and maybe even advise some good other products which would fit very well with this couch. So I totally agree with my other presenters in this session that the tooling will absolutely speed up the quality in the end. And also, like I just said, thinking about variants, existing variants, and relations, I think will be a big added value by AI. And this is a screen where we see the content creator working together with the co-pilot or the personal PIM agent. And this could be, of course, or be like in a chat session, but we even are considering using speech. So speech could also be a way of working together with your AI on how to merchandise and to enrich your data. And so in the end, also what we see, so like the pain points we are currently solving is that there's no more need to work in Excel by using our solution. We are also have a solution where it's using a very strong workflow and a good role management, where people can really get a grip on quality and on the speed up of data enrichment. Currently, in our current session, I will show you something later. We also make use of variables in, for example, descriptions. This will enable people to not forget, for example, that they also need to change the brand or the color in the static description. So we enabled for the variables for that. A visual view of the catalog distribution. Where are we? In which phase is the product? So that gives you a very view. And then of course, integrating with other solutions. So like I said, we are not the type of company who will develop each solution ourselves. Again, that's also why we are highly interested in working together with Describe, but we see integration with other systems as a strong move. And I can share you some images about how we currently use AI. And if you are okay with Stefan, I will shortly launch a backend so that people can see how we currently use AI in Ergonote PIM. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Go ahead, Thomas. Yeah.
All right, cool. So, because let me share my other screen. That's this one. So hopefully this is all now. Oh yeah, you need to share the screen, Stefan. Thank you. So this is a view on our backend, and like we said, we're trying to do our best to make a very intuitive solution to show you how we currently are incorporating AI in our solution. I will quickly switch to the products and go to the catalog. This is our grid. And for this example, I'm diving into a demo of this bike we have. And when I opening the bike, this is the general layout of which the person working with the software solution will see on a daily level. So I could have a manual product title, but I can also have an automatic name. So in this case, we connect these variables to the attributes of this product. So the brand is connected to author, and the product model is empty, but it would be here. And if you want to know what the end would look like, so there's one variable, the break type, which hasn't been described yet. But you see, in this way, we can't forget to create and to fill in the data. And so that's the variable part. If we scroll down, this is all the bicycle parameters, more the technical segmentation of this bike. Some specifications that can be documents as well. And this is the example for the description. So let's assume the description is empty. We have the option already to auto-generate content, so using the JI. And I think why I think we have an interesting way of using the artificial intelligence in here is that we give the user the option to select to have impact on the prompt we essentially send to the AI. So I have to influence to, for example, say I want the AI to use the color, the season, the type of crank, the type of brakes, and the chain. Or I can select any, and I want to have the brand in it, the country, and maybe something else. Let me quickly scroll. Well, let's start with that. And then I push the button generate content. And then we have influence on the prompt, which we send to OpenAI. And there you get the short description. And well, like I always say to my customers, it's better to read and sometimes change the suggestion of AI than to think about it, because it will actually speed up people. Let's save this one for now. After generating the text again, we could change this for the hashtag brand, so I can reuse this text for maybe other products as well. And now I will quickly, for example, switch to Dutch, or let's do Spanish. And then we're scrolling down to the same part of the short description. You can see it's empty, and then we just use the translation from DeepL, and we use the English, and then it's, well, probably my Spanish is not that very good, but if you have a Spanish colleague or even a translation agency, again, it will help speed up the data quality and completeness of this. So this is just the current way of how we use AI. And so back to you, Stefan. I think looking at all the developments which are going on, AI will have a big impact on us. And the things our friends from Describe just showed us is absolutely amazing. And I think, I would be very happy when we get a cooperation going on and see their technology into Ergonaut PIM on anytime soon. So
Cool.
yeah, that's a thing I think about Ergonaut and our vision. Thank you for that.
Cool, Thomas. Thanks. I'm going to add all the speakers back again, so hold on for a bit.
Yeah.
Michael
Michael is gone.
taking a
Doing
quick
smart
break.
things again.
I'll add him. Exactly. I'll add him again if he joins back.
He's in
So,
front of this computer coding AI all night long usually. So during daytime, he's in meetings.
I think he auto-generated his avatar. I think his meta credits have run out.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back. Thanks to everyone for their time and demo. And I'm glad we still have some people left, even though we ran over our time just a little bit. I would like to invite everyone to ask their questions. We had some questions already on the on YouTube, so feel free to put any nasty AI questions or challenges you are currently facing or that you might foresee in the chat on the right, or if you just want to congratulate Describe on the product launch, that's also fine. I have one question that is already there from Kerstin, which is the racist issues, which is a question I think for all of you. But let's start with you, Arnaud. Do you know how that is currently handled by PIM, as you call it, by the AI assistant?
So we genuinely use it as an assistant. That means that there's always a human involved in applying suggestions. So it's up to the person who approves a suggestion whether or not bias is being incorporated.
Right. Yeah. That's good to have. How do you tackle this, Thomas? Do you
Essentially in the same way, just like I showed in the demo, and we give the user the influence of first of all having impact on which prompt we send to the AI by selecting the attributes of choice, and but again, it's also about not doing just what AI tells you to do, but also reading the text and putting it in the context, and so therefore there still will be some challenges also, for example, because most of customers ask me the first thing, can I do mass changes, can I do mass translations? And I say, well, essentially we could enable that for you, but our job as a software vendor, we feel it our job to help our customers in providing and creating the best quality. And I think by at this stage enabling mass translations, mass AI, I don't think it will add to quality. So like Arnold says, it speeds up very, very quickly the work of the content creators or the managers, but there still is a human factor needed, required to check and read through the data. How is that for the images, by the way, Stefan?
well,
So with the images, there's less bias because a bike is a bike, but yet we take this into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with what you just said. The idea is that before people used to walk 100 kilometers every day, and now we provide a car. So they can do the 100 kilometers driving. So
Yeah.
it's much faster. They can go further. So it's definitely a huge improvement. But the car is not totally automated yet. So it's not totally autopilot yet. So I think it's still a great improvement. But I think if we save 95% of content writer time to generate a first description, then this content writer can spend just a little bit of time just to review it, to approve it. We have an approved system into Describe, and just also since it's not a standard generative AI, but it's designed specifically for e-commerce. We kind of get rid of that. Even, for example, some other bias that we can have about genders for wearing clothes and stuff like that. Yeah. We don't want to say, okay, this is a kitchen equipment for women, stuff like that. So definitely we have to take that into consideration. But one fun fact also is that the AI, once we give some background about brands, some very famous brands that I'm not going to name, but we were saying, oh yeah, Hugo Boss has collaborated with Nazis during during the war, because it gives back, the real I would say plain truth about the history of the brand. So not that it's not true, it's not the truth, but our job is to promote the brand for e-commerce. So again, the idea is that we have to take the specific angle on doing business, how we can improve sales for e-commerce, and to do that, we have to tackle all of those problems that are raised, of course.
Yeah. And also, I think because I see Kirsten answering the question about blacklisting, but I think it's not specifically about blacklisting, but at some stage, because it's also about, the topic for today was also about vision. And what we envision is currently we just send a prompt and then we get text back. Well, basically, so very, very bluntly. But in the future developments, AI, we see that we will also have our users the option to connect their own trained model from any open AI source. So now it's just a general AI, but if you have an enterprise account with OpenAI or with BART, or our customers will be able to use also their own models, and in their own models could be trained to not have like racist or discriminating text in it. So.
All right. But does any of you see a future where models are so fine-tuned or trained that the manual check is no longer necessary? Or is this still a very long uncanny valley, or I mean, it's very easy to get to 80%, 90%, right? So that's maybe ChatGPT, and then now we are getting with custom fine-tuned models maybe to 95%, 99%. Where are we going to end up, and especially where are we going to be in a year? Because I think a year ago it was just ChatGPT 3, and we were still like, oh, this is very cool, but there are some rough edges.
Yeah.
Now we have 4, 5 is coming next year. But how do you see the future? Yeah.
I think that's really interesting, because if I broaden the topic a bit more, I mean, that's also what we see in full self-driving in electronic vehicles. I mean, the whole
Totally.
discussion there is valid at this
Yeah.
moment. And it all depends on rules, regulations, because in my opinion, it keeps evolving to a point where, I mean, also more specific, the robot that plays chess now definitely wins every time, even from grandmasters. So you see, it gets more evolved to a point that I think it's even better than humans can do, and faster. But it will probably also lack creativity. And that's where I think humans come in.
Yeah.
We don't hear you.
That was clear, I think.
So that wasn't heard? Sorry?
No, Arnold, we could hear you, but Michal is also trying to
Okay.
to convey a point. But we still can't hear you, Michal. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry for that. So I was trying to add a few things. So in terms of like the future, I do believe that the future will be belonging to fine-tuned models that every company will be deploying themselves right now. We've got the general models right now, like ChatGPT, that everybody had access to, etc. But for example, our company and the way, well, like the Describe is working, and the companies who are working with US, they start to deploy their own large language models of different versions locally that they're hosting themselves, and they're fine-tuning them on the information that they've got from their clients. Like, imagine what could happen if you could train that model on your support tickets from your company. It's going to learn all of the details, the way your employees answering the questions, etc. So it will replicate that very effectively, and you'll be surprised with the effects of that. So that will, I do believe that in like very near future, every company will have their own AI assistant that will be like the repository of knowledge for your company. It will consist of all of the emails, every onboarding information. It will be helping you to daily drive your employees. It will be able to help you find something in your inventory. It will help you to find an email that you respond like 2 years ago. And that's the power of it that we'll be seeing quite soon.
What I think, Michal, is also the case that it's also about the tooling and the way tooling is used in the end, that the quality will help onboard and speed it up. So for example, like when we are maybe 3-4 years ago, like the real start of personalization of, for example, emailing and e-commerce, just plain personalization. If it's bad, the customer leaves. But if it's good, I have no objection with being personalized when I go to e-commerce or whatever. But if it's of quality, people will be okay because people know it happens. So if AI will give a good advice or will give good descriptions or good text to of image to text, it's all okay. But quality is the key in the end.
Definitely. Although I also try to build something on the creativity that was mentioned. Also, I do believe that yes, true artists will not be in any way confronted by AI, but like if any of you had the opportunity to play with DALI or some Midjourney or more sophisticated generative adversarial networks, like they've been trained on like nearly every possible art that is currently available within the internet. You will be surprised sometimes what AI can generate. And I would say that for majority of us, the art that will be AI generated will be a mainstay. Unfortunately, only true artists that will have totally outside of the box thinking, and something that nobody did before. So the computer will not have a template to work on. Only they will be safe in that space. So this is something to at least to consider.
Yeah.
Plus, I would say that in terms of business, creativity is not always what helps us to sell the most. So what we want is consistency. So, for example, in terms of even if you take about emailing, for example, or product pages, but it could be anything else. It's more about the process of sustenance to be able to sustain a high level of answer that is compliant with what performs the best that you are looking, rather than trying to be innovative all the time. So yeah, I think for a lot of AI usage will be definitely to improve everything that has related to support, for example. That is for sure in the very near future.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Maybe a slightly different approach. So Describe is already being implemented in Ergonote, and there's a deeper integration coming. That sort of answers my next question, which is more like, how does this integration, how will this integration develop? Will we see a combination of like the AI assistant in connecting the dots, which is a connection to ChatGPT 4 or to OpenAI, but managed and developed by the solution itself? Will it be local teams from the business that you're helping, integrating their custom large language models into a PIM tooling? Will it be market players like Describe? What is your vision on the ecosystem, Arnoud? How do you see that?
I'm a firm believer in best of breed. So if it turns out that there's a model in the market available that is better at describing text or making your product more SEO proof, I would say better adopt that than to try to match that, because you're already behind in terms of creating a model like that. So I would say that use what is available in the market would be the approach. And also that the end user is able to implement those, could be either via a marketplace, or it could be extensions that they could incorporate into their PIM.
Yeah.
All right, Thomas, how do you see this?
Yeah, well, yeah, we are living that vision already, because we see that there are players like Describe who are very good in a specific part of the enrichment of product data, and just as we believe, let's say, on a higher level on composable commerce, where we connect solutions to each other. We also have a strong belief in microservices or micro connections. And I think there will be other players at some point in the future who do a very specific part in enriching data quality very good. And I think those will be the type of companies which we as Ergonote will be talking about in the near future. And but again, what these guys from Describe just showed me. I've been working with Midjourney also for a long time, and but I've never managed to. When I use that's preset images, they always come up with something which is not very useful. And
Exactly.
Not for business, at least.
yeah, and it was a shame that you couldn't see me, but my smile was actually going from ear to ear when I saw this generated image, regenerated image. So it's really cool. So a big congratulations on this step. It's a big step forward and huge. Great work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Michal, maybe let's use that as a segue then. Michal, do you dare share anything about how this works? Like, I've been using Stability myself. So Stable Diffusion, sorry, using fine-tuned models and trained them on my face. Awesome. Are you using fine-tuned models for every pair of sneakers? Can you share something about the technology behind it?
Yeah, so this is actually quite complex. First of all, we are
Maybe that's why no one has it.
true. First of all, I'm working in the machine learning space for a long time, and we know that even though foundation models are awesome because they are great and they can do a lot of things, they are usually quite hard to manage in terms of like the resources you need to spend. Like fine-tuning of our large language models is an extremely expensive process. We have a whole cluster of GPUs in our office just to run the thing, not to mention to train it. So fine-tuning the LM is not something you can do on the spot. That's why we have a whole pipeline of different models, smaller ones, but very highly sophisticated and dedicated to doing one thing, but doing it very, very well. Like, for example, the background extraction, the fact that we can extract the object itself, then we pipe it into our GAN network that is used for generating the new background. Then we've got another GAN network that takes the entire image and it's changing just the lighting colors and do autocorrect basically on the images. So there's an entire pipeline of that, and there's an algorithm that's also is basically keeping all of it in check. For example, we are doing after we generate that with our GAN network, we are doing a comparison with the original image to, for example, check if the object itself was modified, or like, because that's something that Midjourney doesn't do, or like DALL-E, they don't do that, and that's why you get a bad result if the original object was changed in any way, right? We want to enhance it, we want to change the lighting, we want to get the better colors, maybe polish it a little bit, but we don't want to change the essence of the object. So that's that. But yes, we are also fine-tuning that based on the images. So what happens is on the second pass, we get the images from the web that we can find, right? We add it to it. We fine-tune that particular part of the system to that use case. That's why it actually takes a while, around a minute on a cluster. But we've got a queue system, so we can handle a lot of traffic that way. But it is fine-tuning on those images, and then it's recreating a newly generated, like that hoodie we showed, that Sylvain was showing on the presentation, or like any other object. So again, quite complex, but the fact that we've been working with large models and entire pipelines of models, because that's, I think, is the real future here, to be able to combine different models into like an entire image enhancement pipeline is the key here. Large language models are an essential piece of tying it all together, right? But they are not the answer to all of the stories.
Right, cool. Thanks for
Reminds
sharing.
me of Excel. You know, back in the days before AI, so last year, I used to work in selling a PLM, so not a PIM, but close enough. And a lot of people were saying, "Oh, we don't need a PLM or a PIM because we have Excel." And reminds me about that. You know, it's like Excel is still an amazing software, but it's very generic.
Yeah.
So end of the day, if you want to manage your contacts, you need a CRM. If you need to manage your products, you need a PIM. And I think it's the same for what we are doing at Describe. So focusing on one specific area is that even though ChatGPT will continue on his way to become amazingly great, it's just that it's a generic tool like Excel that will keep be generic because it's meant for that. So it's still great, but you have to identify a space where you need to solve one real life problem. And just like PIM to manage products, you need a fine-tuned model specifically for e-commerce for that product, for example. So that's why it's not just using another tool like Midjourney or DALL-E that will do the product generation, or ChatGPT to generate the product description. It's just not meant for it. So I think it's kind of a something that people are going to experience now with AI. So of course, AI is impressive and is everywhere, but I think it will take a little bit of time for everyone to understand the limit of some of the tools that are a little bit generic.
Yeah.
Agree.
Are you scared in a way that this is going to be replicated by even bigger models and by pushing even more compute towards the more general models, right? So, I mean, in a way, having multiple models and having multiple fine-tuned models and having these pipelines works, right? So the result is amazing and it looks cool. But general models are now also able to do things that they weren't able to do a year ago, right? Or even 3 months ago. Do you see with Moore's law, and especially for GPU compute and the growth of, well, the widespread growth of different models, but also the growth of the models themselves, right? So more parameters, more input, more everything, more compute, that these fine-tuned localized models will be replaced by the bigger models, or will be beaten by the bigger general models?
There's always that possibility, but you need to also keep in mind going bigger is not always better. Also, one particular case, which is the cost of operation of those models. Like right now, when you try to running a GPT-4 for OpenAI is an extremely expensive process, and that's just the beginning of it. So, not to mention that any fine tuning of those models, and I think we can all agree that a fine-tuned, dedicated model that was specifically to design one task that you can quickly iterate on, you can quickly adjust it, change it to your needs, and work on it is simply much easier, and to operate is much easier, is a better way. Yes, there is a possibility that, let's say, in a couple of years there will be a huge model that will be dual, etc. I will not deny it. There's always that possibility, but we will be there to observe the process. I think we are still in the top of the profession right now, working with the top class companies on the subject. So we'll try to like mitigate that, and if the model like that we come out, we'll try to leverage that and to our benefit, of course. So, and also with the large language models, especially that are based on prompting system, etc., it also depends on the input that you are giving them. So the way we try to work with our system, even though we are incorporating large language models like similar to GPT, etc., it's also the input that is extremely important. So the amount of details you are providing, what is the image that you are inputting into it, how you structure your prompt correctly. So all of that takes a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of skill to do it correctly, to get the consistent result, because that's also very important.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Does anyone have any things they would like to share still? Maybe someone from the audience that has any questions, or maybe anything you guys would like to discuss or think or want to explore?
I know there was one question, I believe, in terms of like blacklisting, etc. So to answer that question, for example, at Describe, we did incorporated blacklisting. You can add that through the API, and you can have it. Although we are providing a default keywords set and a default set of sentences that we would not allow in the system, and so we are handling that particular case. Also on the subject, because I do agree that this is something that is extremely important to handle. Um, in Stanford University right now is working quite hard to produce a set of rules for the AI to avoid, and that's actually quite high. Very important topic right now that is being in development. So we are also seeing models that will be doing, for example, check like that. So I do believe that we'll incorporate a dedicated model just to be checking for inappropriate words, racism, etc. Within that will be specifically designed just to do it, and it will be iterating on that effectively. So I think this is where that's going.
Cool.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And I mean, you said this is for text-based, right? So, and we'll have a separate fine-tuned model to check output text for all the biases that are in the current internet lecture on which all the big models have been trained. Do you see a similar problem with graphics, or maybe some strange things that happen with images and strange biases that happen with images or backgrounds?
Definitely, although like already in Describe, because the fact that our models are actively looking for attributes within the object, and we do have, as you can tell, a very sophisticated image comparison and matching capabilities. We are right now trying to create a data set of images that would be not allowed. For example, like signs that would be, if you could find offensive, etc., and we'll do just a matching with that. So the original image would be, we'll try to find similar objects. If we are going to detect them, we are going to flag the image saying, hey, this is not allowed. So we are already actively thinking about solving that particular case as well. although because we also have a OCR built into the system, we are also looking for words that would be not allowed. So yeah, that's we are aware of the issue, and we are actively working to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I do have a question here from Nico. I'm not sure if you can see it, but the question is, does the usage of the new Describe technology by creating a spitting image, right, a copy, but not quite a copy, from a product, doesn't it create any copyright issues? Very good question.
That's a good question. I'm not a lawyer, so it's hard for me to answer. I can only, from technical standpoint, answer that it's up to the user, the image that they are inputting, right? And that's up to them. So
Here's the gun, but
just
don't
like
shoot.
if you take for now, there's no specific regulation about it, like if there's some copyright about the AI. So the idea is that, can we put a copyright on a image that has been generated by AI? I think this is not the idea of what we try to do, because we don't want to protect, the image that has been created, because it's not art, it's just a product that you want to sell. So I think what we try to do is just the way you would enhance an existing image. So if you take a Stan Smith shoes because you want to sell it, or today you have some people that will just reframe it, change the background, and do anything. This image is not something you will claim some copyright about. But it is something from your team, someone from your team that has made the modification, and you can use this image on your website. So it will be the same, just the same way, except that it's been done by artificial intelligence.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I'm not sure if it is entirely the same from a legal perspective, but so exactly, because it's regenerating the image, technically regenerating the image, right? So currently e-commerce companies spend a lot of money on creating photo shoots and creating great pack shots, right? These amazing images of a product without a background. And then they basically, your competitor puts your products and your product images that you have paid a photographer good money for into a not to be named tool, and it generates all kinds of fancy new images with new lighting, and it looks similar, but the lighting is slightly different, and there's a background. And is that a copyright infringement? It's yeah. Arnold, yeah.
What I also find interesting is that also, again, listening to what the others say, is that I think there's a thin line in what people might think why we use AI or for what reasons. But I still believe, and it's also an assumption, but that many people think that AI is there to replace us. But I think AI is there to help us improve quality, and that's also what I hear Describe saying. It's not about looking for a tool or a solution which will make us no longer required, but it's it's our core value that we want to improve the quality of data of our users they enhance and work with, and AI is a tooling to use that. But I don't and if there comes a point like we discussed earlier in which we can conclude that AI comes to a specific quality segment, then it might be. But currently, it's a way to improve quality and to safeguard quality for our customers, and that's what we see is also our responsibility to safeguard that as well.
Yeah, I think. I mean, we're going back to the sort of hallucination part a bit, right? So, had the hallucination of large language models where they generate text that is incorrect, but it feels correct. So it takes the wrong dimensions or wrong, I don't know, wrong color or wrong description, wrong brand, maybe. How does Ergonote, except for the manual check, because we discussed the manual person checking everything, how does Ergonote have any guardrails around that, Thomas?
Well, I don't know if we have those currently. So the AI is now currently used on a product-based level. So and that's why I always encourage my customers to at least read through what was generated and if it makes sense. And also because at this point in time, this is the way how we use it and incorporate it in our software. And yeah, then it comes back to what we like already discussed for the future usage. It can become more on scale, on more quality level, and yeah, maybe those positions also how we think of the usage and also the quality will change for us as well. But time will tell.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Time will tell. We have also been going on for 90 minutes already. Is there any closing thoughts that anyone would like to share with the audience? Otherwise, I'll wrap up this session.
Thanks.
I wanna thank you all for joining us, not just now with the roundtable and sharing your thoughts and your vision, but also sharing your amazing solutions and your vision on how product information management and AI is going to be intermingled, and how the one revolutionizes the other. It's great to have the product launch of the Scribe on this event, on this channel. It's available when exactly?
In a couple of weeks.
A couple of weeks. All right.
Yes. We have the beta version, but what is important, as we just said, is to have something that you can use at the business level. So it needs to be 100% accurate and consistent. So even though it works perfectly, we need to fine tune it to make sure that people can use it at a business level. So a couple of weeks, maybe before the end of the year or early January, but in really a couple of weeks, it will be available.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll let everyone know when that happens. We'll send everyone who attended today a message. If you want more information on all the toolings and solutions that we have seen here, you can visit all the speaker profiles on LinkedIn. You can visit all the different websites. I linked to every speaker on today's event. Please do, and of course, I'll be in touch with everyone to share the recording of this event and any follow up. Have a good evening. Thanks for joining us today. We have and maybe the final comment. We have another session on onboarding data. That's in 2 weeks on the 30th, so exactly on 2 weeks. And I'll be sure to invite you all to that event as well. So hope to see you in 2 weeks. And if not, have a great evening. Thanks.
Thank you.